treasurer. There she comes.
Well, is she coming? You don't want to rush things.
I'm going to get around to it sooner or later.
All right. Good morning. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Fremont County Commissioners and invite you all to rise for an invocation by Todd Luce with the Grandview Christian Church. Good morning.
Would you bow with me, please? Our gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you today, and I specifically ask a blessing upon this council, that they might have wisdom and discernment and intelligence when it concerns our county and the different issues and items that will come up, Lord, that you would help them be gracious and understanding of the needs of the people and what's going on, Lord. We also ask that you protect them and keep them safe. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
And please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Can we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
Commissioner Grantham.
Here.
County Attorney Jackson.
Present.
County Manager Bryant.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Garrett.
Present.
We turn next to the approval of today's agenda. I am not aware of any changes we need to make.
Madam Chair, with that, I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's agenda. Commissioner McFall, you need to turn your microphone on, please. Thank you. He did make that motion, so for anyone who didn't hear it. All right, it has been moved and seconded to approve today's agenda. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We turn next to today's consent agenda. It's a rather lengthy agenda overall. I would like to call your attention to the fact we are scheduling a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, February 9th, starting at 10 a.m. This will be for a special review use for Twin Enviro Services. They are requesting approval of a modification for an expansion that includes areas to the east, south, and vertical. So if you're interested in that, please plan on being here Tuesday, February 9th at 10 a.m.
Madam Chair, I move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve today's consent agenda. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Administrative and informational topics are next. We will begin with staff and elected officials. And up first, we have our county clerk, Justin Grantham, with a monthly report. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and thank you. Today's the total motor vehicle fees, sales tax, and recording fees collected for December of last year were $1,098,814.91. Fremont County's portion for disbursement is $638,694.79, which is 58% of the total fees, and is $2,371.21 less than in 2019 in December. Year to date, our office is down $38,669.06. With reading all that and a little bit of an explanation, that could be 5 sales of cars from dealerships. You know, with COVID coming in March and pretty much things closing down in April and just things being slow, 5 or 6 sales could have made up that end number. So just clarification.
I was just looking at that as you were reading through it and thinking in the back of my mind that probably about June, July, we were down an incredible amount. And so we actually have come back drastically. So I don't think that that's a terrible number for us to end the year on.
No, it's not. Absolutely not.
Thank you, Justin. All right, I will call for a motion to accept the county clerk's monthly report.
Madam Chair, I move to accept the county clerk's monthly report.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the county clerk's report for the month of December 2020. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And we have with us this morning our county treasurer, Kathy Elliott. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning. Kathy has both a semi-annual report and a public trustees quarterly report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm going to start with the semi-annual report. We are up from last year, same time frame, approximately $765,000. Going through, there's a lot of back and forth throughout the whole thing. The Sheriff's Office and Department of Human Services make up that, pretty much that balance, the difference. So I think sales tax for Sheriff's Office was huge this year in collections, and I think maybe they're working at not overspending.
All right, any questions for our county treasurer on the semi-annual report?
What is that difference, Kathy?
Approximately, it was $765,000 and change.
Thanks. That's all.
Okay, ready for a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the county
It
treasurer's.
is accept. Yes.
Accept?
Yes.
Accept the county treasurer's semi-annual report and the public trustees quarterly report.
We're just on the semi-annual report. We'll do the trustees quarterly report in a
Well,
moment. So,
then I will just change that.
all right. Sorry.
I move that we accept the county treasurer's semi-annual report.
Thank you.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the county treasurer's semi-annual report. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, Kathy, now to the public trustees quarterly report.
Okay, so obviously we were not very busy in the foreclosure world. Total for the year, we finished with 30. It will be a slow start in 2021 for foreclosures as the moratorium has been extended through the end of February. So what happens after that, I'm not quite sure.
It may be extended again.
It may very well.
Okay. Any questions for Kathy on the public trustees quarterly report?
No.
Chair's prepared for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to accept the public treasurer's quarterly report.
Public trustee.
Public trustees, treasurer, trustee, it all looks the same on paper. Public trustees quarterly report from the treasurer.
You're just trying to make me feel better.
I was.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked. It worked. Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the treasurer, well, the public trustees quarterly report.
Well, thank you both.
There you go. Okay. Further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Kathy, thank you, but I have a quick question before
Yes.
you go. I would ask you later on the agenda, but I think you don't normally stick around. You get back and get busy again. We do have a resolution later on today's agenda to cancel personal property taxes for a particular property as uncollectible. I'm curious to know how many more of these uncollectible taxes do we have in Fremont County, and is this something that we need to look at on a wider basis?
We have been trying to clean a lot of that up. We have cleaned some of that up. There are some that we do need to address, and I will get a list of that together and possibly get it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, if we could see a list of that and to see how far back some of those non-collectible taxes go, I would appreciate that greatly.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Yeah, you think, can I add to that right quick?
Please do.
Because I think this particular one that we're going to talk about later was back to 2017, I believe. If I'm right, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how many more that we have like that we need to track down, because that's a lot of money that we're not getting. And then there's a statute of limitations or something, some of those fall off eventually. So
At 7 years.
it would be good to make those people come true like everybody else that pays their taxes.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
We turn next to County Manager Sunny Bryant for her County Manager's Report. Good morning, Sunny.
Good morning.
Morning.
So just a couple of quick updates. So we have closed out our CARES Act funds. So Fremont County individually was awarded just over $2.2 million through the CARES Act. Originally, the deadline for those funds was December 30th of 2020, and so we went through all of the processes to understand what they could be used for, and our department worked very diligent in trying to understand that, get applications out for a grant program that was eligible, and we actually reviewed over 150 grant applications and distributed over $1.8 million to small businesses in Fremont County, so we're very proud of those numbers. We also were able to recover over $400,000 into Fremont County for COVID-related expenses last year, and so we were able to spend our full allocation. That grant has been extended to December 31st of 2021. However, I'll be submitting the final reimbursement report here over the next week or so, so we can get that entire program closed out. The last thing, we're getting the construction for the second floor of the courtroom project at the Judicial Center started. We actually have a walkthrough this afternoon, and the company has secured the building permits and everything is ready to go, so they should be starting the actual construction piece of that here over the next week or two. So we're very excited to get that project going. As of right now, it's scheduled to be finished the end of March. There was a little bit delay in securing a millwork contractor, and so that's a large part of this contract. So that has been finalized, and we are moving forward. So that's all I have right now.
All right, thank you so much for that, Sunny. I would have to chime in that CARES Act grant funding that Fremont County got. First of all, many of you may remember we had to really fight to get that funding. Colorado Counties Incorporated joined with Colorado Municipal League, and we really fought for that, but in the end we did prevail, and we were able to bring a total of $4.2 million into Fremont County, of which the county's share was 2.2, and of that 2.2, as Sunny just explained, we gave $1.8 million of that back into our community to local businesses, to churches, to other nonprofits, and we're really proud of the fact we were able to do that. But I would be very remiss if I did not give a huge shout out and a great big thank you to Sunny and your entire administrative team, people in financing. You were the ones who really did all of that background work and did all of the proofs that what people were asking for actually was real, in fact, and made sure that they were eligible. There were a lot of different criteria that folks had to meet, and that was not an easy thing. And to be able to get all of that done, we actually cut the checks and started sending them out before the end of the year, and they were gratefully received by members of our community. So, Sunny, I just wanted to note that and say thank you to you and your entire team.
Thank you. And just quickly, I would like to recognize our department, because one of the eligible expenses for these is salaries to basically monitor, oversee, and do these grant programs. And I'm really proud to say that we didn't keep any of those funds internally. We all added this onto our duties. So Tammy's in the audience. She was our HR director, is now the assistant county manager, and she dove straight into the finance world and went through grant applications right beside me. I mean, I certainly couldn't have done it without her. Share has processed, you know, all of these checks on top of her normal load, and so I really commend everything that our entire department has done, and I'm really proud to say we didn't end up needing to spend any of these funds on salaries to try to monitor these programs, and so that was a huge accomplishment for her.
Job well done, thank you. The other note that I have this morning is you may have noticed that the board looks a little bit different this morning. We do have a new commissioner seated here. He was sworn in this morning, as well as our District 3 commissioner was sworn in again
He did swear at me,
this morning. So for the next couple of years, this is what your new board is going to look like. And I would just like to say welcome to the group, Commissioner Grantham. That's going to take me a while to get used to saying, but we're happy to have you here. We're definitely looking forward to working with you. So if there's anything you would like to mention at this moment, this is your time.
This is that time. Well, thank you, Commissioner Bell, and congratulations also to Commissioner McFall.
Thank you.
On his reelection and being sworn in again. I just, I'm going to keep it short. I am very appreciative to the people of Fremont County for their trust and putting me in this position. I do not take that lightly. I did mention to my predecessor, Commissioner Payne, yesterday that the most unfortunate thing in the experience that I've had being elected to the Senate and then being elected here is having to follow such good people like Ken Kester and Tim Payne. And the unfortunate aspect is I have some pretty big shoes to fill. And Tim Payne was an excellent commissioner and just an exceptional public servant, and I want to thank him most of all for his years of service. Even prior to his being commissioner, he did a wonderful job, and he will be sorely missed. And just thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Commissioner McFall, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, so thank you for the congratulations and everything, and congratulations to you, Mr. Grantham. As you said, we were sworn in a little bit earlier this morning, and I look forward to serving in my second term here, staying on track with what I've been doing for Fremont County. There's some exciting things happening, and some of them I've been working on for a few years, so it's going to be great to push those on through and make them happen. Pathfinder Park. I was telling Carrie Canterbury a little bit ago that I was working on broadband, trying to get the West End some service in some places. It's a hard task, but working on that, so I'm excited about that. And I want to thank Fremont County for trusting in me again, and thank my wife. Thank my wife for supporting me. It's been a great time, and I'm going to continue to work hard. I want to touch back on the CARES Act money and also thank Sunny and her staff for what they did. I think that is the coolest, most amazing thing I've been able to do as a commissioner. They did all the work and stuff, but to approve those grants for the businesses that were struggling, we all know how hard that's been for 10 months now or whatever it is, and it feels so blessed that we were able to help with those. So it's a great thing, and thank you guys for the hard work you put into it. And it's just amazing that we were able to do that, so thank you.
All right. Any other staff or elected officials reports this morning? Okay, we'll move on. Now it is the time for citizens who may wish to address this board on matters not scheduled on today's agenda. Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to step forth? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. We have no old business for consideration today. We'll jump right into new business. First item is organization or reorganization, maybe, of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners. So I've certainly enjoyed serving as chairman over the last year, but it has been, I would say, an interesting year. I think none of us had any idea what was coming for last year, and we had to fight some battles last year that we never have even imagined that we would be able to fight before. But it ended up, I think we did the best job that we possibly could have done. It was a whole new world for all of us, but having said those things, I'm definitely ready to turn the chairmanship over. So I do believe that Commissioner McFall has been given fair warning that this motion is coming. So I move to appoint Commissioner Dwayne McFall as our chairman for the year 2021.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded to appoint Dwayne McFall as chairman for 2021. Further discussion, and no, you can't say no.
No, yeah, one thing. You did have a tough year, and you did a great job pulling us through all this
Thank you.
pandemic and craziness that we've had to deal with, so thank you for your service.
Thank you, I appreciate that very much. All right, let's have a roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, and one more motion to go with the organization of Board of County Commissioners is we need a chairman pro tem.
Madam Chair, I'm not going to let you off very easily, so I move that we appoint Commissioner Debbie Bell as Chair Pro Tem for the year 2021.
Second.
And yes, I also knew that was coming, so. It has been moved and seconded to appoint Commissioner Bell as Chairman Pro Tem for 2021. Just thank you for continuing to have that trust in me, and hopefully you're going to be here and I won't have to step in and fill those shoes. So we have a motion and second on the floor. Is there further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And with that, if you'll give us a moment, we're going to change places and let our new chairman take over. I won't run you over. There.
And just like that. can't get signed on, so I'm going to have to do something different.
You'll find it, you'll figure it out.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, and look forward to a great 2021. It's got to be better than last year, so got to be with us. Okay, our next item of business on the agenda is appointment of a county attorney. Per Colorado statute, that is something that we need to do. And so I will entertain a motion for doing just that.
Mr. Chair, I'll be happy to make that motion for you. We have had the opportunity to have a long-term county attorney here in Fremont County. She has done an excellent job for more than 20 years. I'm not even going to make her fill in that blank and tell us exactly how many years she's been around. But she is the historian for the Board of Commissioners. Anything that we need to know that we don't, we can turn to Ms. Jackson, and she always has the answer for us. If she doesn't know it, she knows where she can find it. She definitely is a repository of information for us. And during this past year, along with pretty much every time, but this year, she has just been invaluable to this board. And I just hope that she knows and understands how much we do appreciate her, and hope to continue seeing her seated here at this podium for a very long time. So with that, I move to appoint Ms. Brenda Jackson as county attorney.
Second.
I think she was making faces at you.
I'm not
So
even going to look at her.
we have a motion and a second to appoint Ms. Brenda Jackson as county attorney. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Brenda. All right, on to the next item. We'll have resolution number 1, correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Resolution number 1, and it is the appointment of a county surveyor. It is an elected position, but we had nobody run for county surveyor, so it is our duty to appoint a surveyor. The gentleman who served the last 2 years was Mr. John Krantz, and he is willing to serve again.
Mr. Chair, I would move the approval of resolution number 1, reappointing John Kratz, county surveyor.
I'll second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 1, reappointing John Krantz, county surveyor. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 4, resolution number 2, which is approving official depositories for the Fremont County 2021. Our treasurer has informed us of her choices. And while I'm looking for it, I would entertain a motion. Found it.
All right, Mr. Chair, this will be resolution number 2.
Yes, ma'am.
I move to approve resolution number 2, which appoints the following depositories as approved and designated for Fremont County funds. There are 4, and they include Sunflower Bank of Canyon City, Colorado Surplus Asset Fund Trust, Colo Trust, and Bank of the San Juans, also known as Glacier Bank.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2, approving the official depositories of Sunflower Bank of Canyon City, Colorado Surplus Asset Fund Trust, Colo Trust, Bank of the San Juans / Glacier Bank. Any bank. I don't know where blank came from. Any further discussion?
You can stop making me feel better.
Goodness. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item is resolution number 3, which designates the regular meetings for the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners, which is it's typically been the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of the month at 9:30. I will entertain a motion for that designation.
Mr. Chair, I would move the approval of resolution number 3, designating that schedule for regular meeting for the Fremont County Board of Commissioners.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 3, which is the regular meetings of the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners. They will remain on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of the month at 9:30. Any further discussion?
Just the note that occasionally we do have the necessity to schedule a special public meeting. When we do that, they will be noticed in all of the appropriate noticing places. And we also try to get them on the consent agenda the meeting before, so.
Thank you. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 6, resolution number 4, designating the official newspaper of Fremont County. Would like to note that we do have 3 newspapers in Fremont County. We have the Crusader, we have the Florence Citizen, and we have the Canyon City Daily Record. One of those, Canyon City Daily Record, being a daily newspaper, makes it much easier for us to get our notifications out rather than in a weekly publication. And with that, I would entertain a motion for resolution number 4, designating a newspaper.
Sure, Mr. Chair. I move to approve resolution number 4, designating the Canyon City Daily Record as the official newspaper for Fremont County official publications.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 4, designating Canyon City Daily Record as the official newspaper for Fremont County. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item, number 7, resolution number 5, designating official posting places for notice of public meetings for Fremont County Board of Commissioners. There are 3 places that are currently noticed. That is the bulletin board in the hallway outside the office of the Board of County Commissioners, the bulletin board located in the main south entrance of Fremont County Administration Building, and we put it on the website, fremontco.com. Would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve resolution number 5, designating those places as the official posting places for notice of public meetings for the Fremont County Board of Commissioners.
I'll second.
Has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 5, designating the bulletin board outside the county commissioner's office, the bulletin board outside the main south entrance of the Fremont Administration Building, and the Fremont County website, fremontco.com, as official posting places for Fremont County Board of Commissioners meetings. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I simply would add to that these are our official posting places, but we also do other things to notify folks of upcoming meetings and different events happening here at Fremont County. We do have several different social media accounts through Fremont County, so we post a lot of information there. We also are able to talk on the radio and to have announcements on the radio. So we do everything, I think, in our power to be public and transparent and let everyone know that what we are doing here in Fremont County.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, I believe that is the end of our housekeeping. Phew, yeah.
Take a breath.
To item number 8, which is an approval of a water structure augmentation contract with Upper Ark Water Activity Enterprise. We do have on the agenda that Tony Ademick, our Director of Department of Transportation, was going to be here, but he was unable to make it. So I would turn to County Manager Sonny Bryant.
Yes, good morning. So this is the annual agreement that we have for supplemental water services for our Department of Transportation. So there aren't any changes to the agreement, and this is the standard request that we have each year. We are trying to make permanent plans to have water augmented, and that agreement was approved a little while ago. So this is just our standard annual agreement to supplement water for DOT.
And I would like to point out the road department uses a lot of water, and what that's for is dust suppressant and trying to make the roads stay together. These dirt roads, when they get really dry, they can grade them all they want to, but if they don't have moisture in them, they come apart really fast. So they do use quite a bit of water throughout the county on these dirt roads, and that's what this agreement is for, is the Upper Ark, where they pull water out of designated spots out of the river for that, and I would entertain a motion for approval of that contract.
Certainly, Mr. Chair. I move to approve the water structure augmentation contract with the Upper Arkansas Water Activity Enterprise.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to approve the Upper Ark Water Activity Enterprise. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, now for some fun stuff. We're going to move on to the next item. We have Brittany Pierce here, who's our Noxious Weed Director. She's going to give us the 2020 Noxious Weed Year-End Report. Hello, Brittany.
Good morning.
This is exciting if you like weeds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Is this all set up with?
It's not, but if you actually give me the little thing, I can.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Or I can use it for
My name is Brittany Pierce. I'm the Fremont County Weed Management Director. A little bit about our job is that we work to comply with the state and federal laws and regulations to manage noxious weeds within our county. We work a lot with a bunch of different partners. Our next slide actually shows this, but we do work with private landowners and agencies, such as the Fremont Conservation District, Bureau of Land Management, State Land Board, several other entities, including the City of Canyon City, City of Florence, CDOT, the list goes on. And without their help, a lot of this wouldn't be as successful as we would hope. Thank you. Okay. In Fremont County, we do offer a few different programs to help with some of our agencies and local landowners. We have a cost share program for weed spray, and it is eligible for private landowners. It's up to 50% of the treatment cost, up to $500. It does cover the List A and List B species that are within Fremont County. We are qualified supervisors, and so we have the training and certification to treat noxious weeds within Colorado. One other thing that we do offer is herbicide at wholesale cost, and this is for private and any other agency that would need any of herbicide. We also can give recommendations and management plans if needed, and this can go even without the herbicide cell. So if you ever need any help with any type of weeds, and it doesn't have to be noxious weeds either. A couple noxious weeds, I'm just going to go over a few. We have more than just 4 in our county, but I like to go over a few when I talk here. These are List B species, which are more common than some of our List A species, and they are required by the state to be managed as necessary. These ones are all found in Fremont County. The one on the left there is Hound's tongue. It is it's usually found in the higher elevations of Fremont County, usually in the southwest, so we probably don't see a whole lot of it here in town. But it is a biennial, which means that it takes 2 years to complete a life cycle. It produces burr-like seeds that can stick to animals or people, whether they're clothing, and that's usually how it moves. It can produce about 2,000 seeds per plant and can be viable 2 to 3 years. It is toxic to domestic animals and wildlife. Normally, it's not palatable to animals, but sometimes it accidentally gets mixed into hay, and that's usually how they become endangered or it gets spread. Then one next to that is leafy spurge. That's a little more common throughout Fremont County. It is a perennial, so it comes back every year. It has an extensive root system that keeps it viable throughout all the seasons. Each plant contains about 15,000 seeds and can actually project them about 15 feet away. It can produce a milky latex substance that, when touched by humans, it can cause irritants such as a rash or burns or blisters. So we have to take special care with this in not touching it or getting it onto anybody's clothing, especially if you have a latex allergy. The next one is Hori Crest, or some people call it white top. That's usually found in more watery areas where there's drainages usually. It is also a perennial, and it does also have an extensive root system that also keeps it viable throughout the year. One plant can produce about 4,000 seeds, and they're viable for about 3 years. They can cause sores in the mouths of livestock, but its normally big concern is from it outcompeting other native vegetation and taking over landscapes. The one on the far right is a Russian olive. It's more common. We see that all along drainages and waterways, usually throughout the Arkansas. We see these plants. They are perennial deciduous trees, so they come back every year, and they can reach about 35 feet in height, but their roots can grow as far as 40 feet below the surface. Their growth rate is about 6 feet per year. They have the potential to be a fire hazard, and they can displace grazing pastures and other desirable landscapes. Some of our projects that we were able to complete in 2020, we worked with the Bureau of Land Management to work along the Grape Creek area. We hired a contractor, Wilderness Weeds Incorporated. The guy there on the right, his name is Cade Pickering. He has an outfit where he uses packing mules to go along areas where we wouldn't be able to traverse on UTVs or trucks. So he gets the packing mules and he loads up any type of equipment, herbicide, and sprays along there. He was able to treat about 24 acres worth of Scotch thistle. This has been an ongoing project for at least the last 3 years, and it's had really good success. Another project that has been ongoing for the last 7 years has been the Elongated Mustard. This is a List A species. This species is a rare one since it is only located here in Colorado along the Wellsville area. It spans across 2,000 acres along the Arkansas River and the Highway 50 corridor. This plant has the tendency to grow in any condition, climate, terrain, and can spread very quickly, and therefore it's stressed to eradicate on a state level to prevent the spread from any other sensitive areas. We've been collaboratively working with Chaffee County Bureau of Land Management. This year we worked with the Habitat Partnership Program, Department of Agriculture and the State Land Board, and several private landowners. In the past year, we completed 2 acres through aerial spray, but the amount of acres have really differentiated over the past few years, and this usually coincides with precipitation. This last year we had a major drought, so I think we saw lower numbers, but we're going to continue to reevaluate these numbers and make sure that we continue to put our efforts into eradicating. As I mentioned, we do have a few other List A species here in Fremont County. These are the other 3 that are here. These ones are all pictured in Canyon City, but they can be seen outside of Canyon City as well. The one on the left there is Myrtle Spurge, and like the leafy spurge, it has the tendency to produce many seeds and project those seeds 15 feet away. It also, if contacted with humans, it can cause rash, blistering, and even anaphylactic shock in sensitive individuals. For this one, you have to be very careful in eliminating it. Unlike the leafy spurge, it can be hand-pulled or dug, but you have to take special precautions. The one next to that is giant reed. It's not bamboo. Everybody thinks it's bamboo, but it's not. It is giant reed, and it grows throughout Fremont County. It can grow up to 20 feet tall in a year, and at just a rate of 2 feet per week. It can alter the water flow and change the aquatic life from its presence near water, and can also be a fire hazard. The one next to that is Japanese knotweed, and that one's only found in Canyon City so far, luckily, and it grows about 4 inches a day, and it's known for deteriorating roads, buildings, and foundations when untreated. In the summer, they produce a white flower that's similar looking to the lilac bush, and all of these plants here are perennials, and they're primarily reproduced through fragmented roots and not so much through seed. And these ones are all managed under the Department of Agriculture's grant funding and private landowners, and whenever we can with agencies. Biocontrol. This one's a fun one. This is a little newer in the past few years. Biocontrol is a method of controlling pests using natural enemies to reduce invasive species populations. These controls are tested and monitored greatly by the Department of Agriculture for at least a minimum of 20 years before release into the public. They are also host-specific, in which they only target the species in question. So the one on the left there is Canada thistle rust fungus. It's a fungus, and this one is specific only to Canada thistle. If inoculated successfully, it has the potential to reduce 100% of the population, unlike other biocontrols where it may only reduce the population instead of eradicate. That's kind of a special one. We like that one. And we released about 20 so acres worth of this stuff throughout Fremont County. The one on the right there is the Russian knapweed gall wasp and gall midge. It is specific to the Russian knapweed, and we released some of these on private lands. Both are the same species, they're just at a different life cycle. The adult wasps lay eggs in the shoots of the plants, and the growing larvae feed on the nutrient source of the plant. So they all work together to reduce the population of Russian knapweed. The Gall wasp, we released about 5 acres worth, and the Gall midge, we released about 4 acres worth, all on private land. A couple other ones that we did get to work with this year, the diffuse and spotted knapweed weevil. We didn't release this year, but we did in 2018 and 19 along the Copper Gulch Road, where there's a bunch of this spotted. We did note that we saw these specific weevils along County Road 3A, right by the Royal Gorge region, so they are moving, they're working. The Department of Agriculture is aware, and they're excited, so they might come out and do some collections to move them out further. But that was a good thing. And the one on the right here is the northern Tamaris beetle. They're host specific to the salt cedar tree. These are known for defoliating and turning the canopies brown. We had 6 releases of these made in the Penrose area. We've had releases in prior years through Natural Resource Conservation Service, and tracking them is a little iffy. I think Penrose area will be a little more simpler to try to find. Summary of our 2020 field work, I divided it by landowners on which we did work for and through the species specifically. We did work with 26 landowners to treat 42 acres with the Fremont Conservation District funding. And then we also have it listed through how many acres by agency. And on the right there, I have it listed by the List B and List A and List C species. We also do bare ground treatments in some areas. And so we have that listed, and our total is 150 for this year. One other thing I wanted to show a summary of is just kind of the locations where we go. This is actually outside of Fremont County, but we do work with CDOT. So this does extend all the way out to Park County, Pueblo County, Custer County, and then of course Fremont County. So we do a lot of work. We try to make sure that nothing comes in as well as goes out of our county to make sure traffic or nothing else can move around. Our 2020 budget, we started with $49,147.95. We were projected for $135,200 in revenues, and after an expense of $161,000, can't see that, $184.31, we were left with $23,163.44 to move into this year of 2021. We are projected at the end of this year to carry on $27,787.78, and this is also with the addition of having CDOT in our agreements now, so this should make a big difference. And we also still have our other agreements that we've had in the past with BLM and county roads, City of Canyon City and City of Florence. So these all will play into the following years to see how we go. We do have a couple plans that we wanted to try to initiate for 2021, seeing how 2020 kind of gave us a surprise. We're going to try to make sure that we have newer methods to conduct any of our business to complement social distancing requirements, and to be able to get to contact landowners and agencies, whether it be through radio or social media or however. We have to just come up with something different there. And then we have our own protocols as far as how we conduct our business on site. We're going to try to release more biocontrols as available. The Department of Agriculture usually has these available in season, so we will be in contact with them to see where else we can move that. I know there's a lot of landowners who are interested in that, so we'll keep an eye out for that. And then, as usual, we will continue to work with federal, state, and local entities and local landowners to make sure that we monitor and treat species as needed. And thank you, guys. Thank you for.
I have a
letting me come up
question.
here. Yes.
I know how you release insects. How do you release a fungus?
Well, it's a little different. It comes in the form of a plant. It's an old dried out plant, and we just crumble it down into small pieces. And on it, there's little spores, and the spores are activated by a little moisture. So we go out and we put a little moisture on the plant just with a spray bottle, and we just sprinkle, it looks like basil, basically. We put it on a little small plant and spray it a little more so it sticks to it. And then hopefully with the right conditions, the spores attach itself to the plant and goes into the root system and starts going to work. All of these are very host specific, so we don't ever have to worry about landowners saying, well, I don't want it on this, but just this. It only attaches it to that one plant.
Thank you.
Now, did I not tell you this was fun stuff and exciting?
It is fun stuff.
It is pretty cool, and I've actually put some of that fungus on the thistles at my house, so it'd be interesting to see next year if it started taking, because it may or may not, and it takes a few years for it to take over the plant from what I read. But it was pretty interesting because it's a stickery little stuff because it comes off of thistles. But even with gloves on, it was poking my fingers, going
Yes.
through there, putting it on the plants and watering them on. So it'll be interesting to see if it works. I hope it does, because I'm tired of trying to kill those things because they're hard to kill.
They are.
The thistles. But another thing, unfortunately, some of these list A weeds and some of the list Bs too were also brought here for ornamentals. And the giant reed, for one, it's kind of all over town, and I don't know if a landscape company was planting that for good looks on landscaping or what, but it is a problem. I know my neighbor had some, and it creeped over to mine, and that stuff is hard to kill too.
It is.
And it travels by the root. It's just like veins underground, and they're hard, and it's a tough one to kill. Finally got rid of it, but so please be aware. Hopefully the landscape companies and the nurseries and stuff like that are as well too. There's one thing that Brittany was awarded an award this year, and from the CWMA, the Colorado Weed Management Association. She's done a great job for us, and she was awarded the award of the Newcomer of the Year. So congratulations on that, and thank you for doing the job that you're doing. It's an amazing deal to have somebody like you in that place. And anything you'd like to add, anyone?
Well, you kind of stole all my thunder.
Oh, sorry.
So, the first thing I was going to say, I was going to talk about many of these actually being ornamental. And the thing that strikes me every year when we have the opportunity to see this up on the big screen, some of those plants are beautiful. I mean, you look at them and you just think, well, I understand why people wanted them, but what they didn't understand when they started bringing them here and planting them is they're not native to this area, so they don't really have any controls that are natural controls for them, and they just get completely out of bounds. And as Commissioner McFall just said, they don't recognize property lines. They're just going to grow and move and go wherever they want to go, and that's why they become such a big problem for us. But some of them are really pretty. And I also just was going to thank you and congratulate you as Newcomer of the Year for the Colorado Weed Management Association, because Fremont County has a long history of winning many different awards with the CWMA.
CWMA,
And so we're really happy to see that tradition is continuing, Brittany. So thank you so much for all your hard work.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take a pause here on this agenda item because I forgot to do one thing. So I want to do this right quick.
I see what's coming.
I had it on my notes and I forgot, even though it was on my notes here. But I want to recognize Commissioner Bell as chairman for 2020 and present her with this gavel plaque. And again, appreciate you for the job that you've done. And thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much.
So, kind of
All right.
formally give it to you, I guess. Maybe Carrie wants a picture of it, so.
Well, we're okay, I think so. Thank you.
I write it down and then don't look at it, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do appreciate that. I'll add that one to my wall.
Okay. And Jeff thought I was just going to skip him or something. He's thinking, what the heck, I'm next.
What is
So
happening?
next on the agenda is number 10, which is OPC 17-001, JMC Enterprises, doing business as Fremont County Cannabis, and it's a request for a renewal of an optimal premises cultivation license. And we have Jeff Kane here as representation. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, Jeff, just tell us how things are going. And
Well, it's been a trying year, navigating Corona hits every business, but overall everything's kind of went great. It's an outdoor grow, so we fought the drought with everybody else, and so far so good. But it's on year 4 now, so it's kind of cut and dry, and everything's fell into place and going pretty well.
Okay, any questions for Jeff at this point? Need a staff report, please, Sean?
Good morning. So the application is complete and a true representation of the request. The facility is in compliance with state regulations. The department has not received any complaints, nor has there been any violations at the facility, and the department recommends approval for the renewal.
We'd like to note this is one of those grows that we appreciate being out kind of in the middle of nowhere, never had any complaints. We appreciate the job that you guys do, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Agreed. No complaints, no violations says a lot to
Yeah,
us.
it does.
We work very hard to keep everything going great, so.
We
Thank you
appreciate
for
all that hard
Yep,
work.
You betcha. So if there's any other discussion, if not, I would entertain a motion.
My turn. Mr. Chair, I would move for approval of the optional premises cultivation license renewal. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
17-001.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve OPC 17-001 for JMC Enterprises doing business at Fremont Cannabis. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
That's right.
You too, thank you. Okay, on to the next item of business, which is a liquor license transfer. CF Altitude LLC doing business as Alta, and it's for a fermented malt beverage off premises. Mr. Clerk, do you have something, a staff report on that?
I just wanted to mention that they did turn all the paperwork in for the transfer, and we sent it up to the attorney, and we were directed to put it on the agenda today.
We are waiting on the signed lease. They're supposed to finish closing on the 14th, and so approval of the license needs to be contingent on having that lease finalized.
On all of them?
On both.
On both of these
licenses,
properties?
Yeah, that's the only issue, is the lease is unsigned because they haven't quite closed yet on the property. But everything else is in order.
Mr. Chair, I have reviewed all of the paperwork. I believe it is all in order, and I'm prepared with a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
I move to approve liquor license transfer from CF Altitude LLC, doing business as Alta on number 6326, located at 3095 East US Highway 50 in Canyon City, and this approval is contingent on receiving a signed copy of the lease.
I'll second that. It has been moved and seconded to approve the liquor license transfer from CF Altitude LLC doing business as Alta, 3095 East Highway 50, with the contingency of the signed lease. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I would like to point out too that with liquor licenses, the state oversees these very heavily. So it is pretty well regulated through the state, and there's little that we can do with this, but we do have to approve these. The next item is number 12, which is also a liquor license transfer. Again, with CF Altitude LLC doing business as Alta. This is for the property on 1410 Elm Avenue in Canyon City.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the liquor license transfer for CF Altitude LLC DBA Alta, store number 6328 at 1410 Elm Avenue, contingent on the lease being finalized and signed.
I'll second.
Has been moved and seconded to approve liquor license transfer from CF Altitude LLC, store number 6328, 1410 Elm Avenue in Canyon City. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
On to the next item of business, which is a resolution, number 6. And this is one we spoke about earlier at the start of the meeting. It's canceling uncollectible personal property taxes for Lincoln Park Tavern.
So, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
We were contacted as commissioners a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, by the new owner of this particular piece of property, who told us a story that he went through the entire closing process, was never notified that these taxes had not been paid, and would continue to move with the property, meaning that he was also inheriting these particular taxes. He had no idea that that was happening. Everything was said and done, and then he was contacted by someone at the county saying, well, you now owe all of these taxes. So he contacted us, and we had a couple of conversations. We agreed with him that the law is not maybe always fair in trying to collect these taxes from someone who should not be responsible for them. As Commissioner McFall explained earlier, you can go back a total of 7 years to forgive personal property taxes that have not been paid. I then had a conversation with our county treasurer, Kathy Elliott, and asked her if, in her opinion, these taxes were collectible from a previous owner, and she said no, they absolutely are not. So with that opinion, we asked our county attorney to draw up the paperwork, and this resolution, number 6, will cancel uncollectible Lincoln Park Tavern Incorporated personal property taxes for the tax years of 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. So, Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number 6, canceling those uncollectible personal property taxes for Lincoln Park Tavern Incorporated.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 6, canceling the uncollectible personal tax properties for Lincoln Park Tavern located at 1208 South Ninth Street for years 2016, 17, 18, and 19. Earlier, I thought it started at 17, but it's a little further than that. Any further discussion? Just hopefully the treasurer will start getting after these a little quicker. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, we want to wish that business good luck as well. Number 14 on the agenda is the ordinance. It's a second reading and adoption of amendments to the Residential Cultivation of Marijuana Ordinance 1-2017. Is there any discussion on that, Ms. Jackson?
I would just note that the publication of the ordinance following first reading at the first December meeting has been completed. There have been minor, basically typo errors that have been corrected in the ordinance for second reading, but there are no other changes, and so this is the same as it was for first reading, and upon approval by the board, it will become effective. As a reminder, these changes through this ordinance are to prohibit combined caregiver grows in Fremont County. The state passed legislation recently prohibiting combined caregiver grows, and so we are just getting our ordinance consistent with state law.
So we're getting in line with the state. That's a good thing.
They kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, commissioners?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve ordinance 1-2020, second reading and adoption of amendments to the residential cultivation of marijuana. Ordinance 1-2017.
I second that, just with a note that I'm really glad we did not need to make our county attorney read all 4 pages of that ordinance once again. The first reading was enough.
I agree.
Okay, any further discussion?
Unless she wants to.
Oh, no, that's fine. Now, someone else can.
Now, I think you got dirty looks, yeah. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, one thing I spoke about a couple months ago, or a couple meetings ago, about appointments to local boards that we have the duty to do. One, we had a recommendation from the Fremont, John C. Fremont Library District to reappoint Daniel Peterson as a trustee for a 5-year term, which would end December 31st, 2025.
Mr. Chair, we do have a letter asking us to make this particular appointment from the John C. Fremont Library, because even though it is the commissioners who make the actual appointment, the recommendation comes from the current Board of Trustees. So, Mr. Chair, with that, I move to appoint Daniel Peterson, or to reappoint Daniel Peterson to the John C. Fremont Library District Board of Trustees for a 5-year term that will end on December 31st of 2025. That seems a very long time away.
It does. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? It has been moved and seconded to reappoint Daniel Peterson to the John C. Fremont Library District Board of Trustees for a 5-year term ending December 31st, 2025. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham,
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item of business is for authorization of the chairman's signature on the amendment to the contract with Intellectual Technologies, Technologies and Bank for some reason today, for a kiosk and POD devices for the Fremont County Department of Motor Vehicles. And I'll ask Clerk Grantham to speak on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So back in 2017, the County of Arapahoe decided to go into a contract with the permission of the State of Colorado Division of Motor Vehicle to have Intellectual Technologies Incorporated distribute a pilot program of kiosks that would allow the individuals of counties that are participating to renew their motor vehicle tags when their time comes up. As this has gone on through the years, there have been multiple pilot programs in multiple counties that are able to use these kiosks. What that entails is in any participating county, no matter which county you live in, if there's a kiosk in this county, you can actually renew your tags inside of that county, which comes to a great help for those of us that may or may not live outside of Fremont or work outside of Fremont County and can't get back here in time. They could visit the kiosks either in Pueblo or El Paso and renew their tags on the way home, depending on where those are located. So it becomes a great benefit for those citizens of Colorado. As the program has continued on, last year the legislature decided to make it a permanent program in the statute, which has changed how the agreement actually sits. Instead of the County of Arapahoe actually maintaining and keeping the master contract, the contract now goes to the State of Colorado Division of Motor Vehicle. So what this amendment does is just note that the agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of Fremont County and the State of Colorado, instead of the County of Arapahoe, and any amendments thereforth would be on that master contract that now sits with the state.
And it looks like this initial contract will expire June 30th, 2022.
Correct. As they continue on with the program, they've noticed that there are more services that they could actually offer with the kiosk program, such as address changes, collection of property taxes, administrative changes that can happen inside the office or online with the Division of Motor Vehicle can also happen at that kiosk. So their initial plan right now is the print on demand, which are the tags initially that can go right off, that can be printed right at the kiosk, and the kiosk itself can actually expand its programming to offer more services to the counties that have those kiosks.
And it appears as though this particular contract has no fiscal impact, that we're not paying for this particular contract?
No, and what's great about this contract and more things that they start outlining is any kind of promotional activity, any kind of acknowledgement of the kiosk, any repairs, maintenance, renting space from any places, that all falls on ITI. So that's no cost to the county itself for any of this, and it's a great thing to do. I know that I'm in the final stages of moving our kiosk from inside the actual City Market building where it sits, which is right in front of the self-service checkout aisle, to outside in the foyer, which would be less of a compacted area and help with visibility and social distancing. So this is all around, it's just a great thing to do, and I would encourage you guys to sign this, and so I can get it back to them, and we can move on with helping Fremont County get renewal tags right off the bat.
I think this kiosk probably got well used when we had to close our building because of this pandemic, or I would assume that it did, if City Market was open.
City Market was open. We did see a mass increase of not just people using our kiosk here from citizens, but other people from other counties coming here because not all the kiosks were available at some of the other counties. So we had a lot of influx of usage of this kiosk here in Fremont County.
Okay. Commissioners, any thoughts?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I would move for the authorization of the chairman's signature on amendment to the contract with Intellectual Technology, Inc. for kiosk and POD services for the Fremont County Department of Motor Vehicle.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to authorize chairman's signature on the amendment contract with ITI. See, I got out of that time. For the kiosk POD devices, Fremont County Department of Motor Vehicles. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We have no public hearing scheduled for today, and that is the last item on our agenda. So with that, we are adjourned.